What's up, traders? So everybody knows that chop in the market is extremely difficult to trade, and a lot of times it will stop hunt a ton of traders. Well, in today's video, I'm going to cover two live trades that we caught with our community while the market was choppy, but by using things like divergence and liquidity, we were able to find some strong moves on the ES for a 9-to-1 risk to reward, and on the NASDAQ to the downside for almost a 4-to-1 risk to reward. So let's get into it and I'll show you guys how we executed these trades. Alright, so right now we have our replay system on. This is going to be the 9:30 market open. This is ES on the left hand side, the NASDAQ on the right hand side, and whenever we're trading ES or the NASDAQ, it's important to be aware of what the other one is doing because it might give us a clue for which one is stronger or weaker. So I'm going to let it play out and I'll show you guys exactly what I was seeing. Obviously, right out the gate, we had a nice strong move. This is the 9:30 candle. 9:31 was a strong move to the downside on both ES and NQ. Now, however, after we made that move lower, the ES found some strength and tried to push back higher, while the NASDAQ continued to try to break lows, but every time we broke a low, we ended up pulling back. And that's something I told our community to really be careful with because we're failing to hold those lows and ES is much stronger. This gives me some sense of divergence. So we're going to let it play out again and I'll show you exactly where I was looking to enter. So right here at this point, ES was making another higher low. We came into this order block right here. So this was my point of entry. So we have our order block after we had a displacement after, and I even threw up our optimal trade entry. And as we see from this high, we came right into our OTE at that 61%, that 78%. This is our optimal trade entry. This is where I placed my long position on the ES. And don't worry, guys, I'm going to put the link to the live stream in the bio below so you guys could check that out too. So I wanted to keep my stop loss sort of tight because I saw that ES was still much stronger, and I wanted to target some previous pivots or swing highs. So because we had this swing high right here from pre-market, this is a pre-market high, I saw that because ES is much stronger, I'm able to take advantage of that and take this long position with a tight stop loss, about a 6-to-1 risk to reward so far on this, and we were able to add as well. So we're going to play it out, and again, as we see right here with our divergence, the ES made a higher low, while NQ made a lower low. So again, we're getting divergence, and a lot of times when there's divergence, there's a shift in market structure, usually giving us some type of reversal. So because ES was the divergent one, it was failing that low, we took ES long positions, and we tried to let that play out. So our first take profit in this trade was this previous high right here, which it tapped into, so it was a quick first trade. We were holding one contract left at this point. Now we come back into our area, we tap it a little bit, and again, we see now that the NASDAQ has found some strength. It trapped a lot of sellers. I'm going to be wary of that, and I'm going to say, okay, well now that might help give the ES that extra push it needs to go hit my final take profit. So we're going to let it play out one more time, and as we see, we had a strong move to our take profit, that pre-market high, and it completely rejected it right after. So because we listened to our take profit, we got out right at the top before it pulled back. But now at this point, we're out of our ES trades, and I'm noticing the weakness again in the market. And because the NASDAQ was much weaker, I was then able to say, okay, well, let me take a look at the NASDAQ and see if we have any short setups on the NASDAQ. And that's what I'm going to cover next. So now I have the NASDAQ on the left hand side with our replay system. We have our ES right on the right hand side. That way we could show you guys exactly how we took this trade. So we're going to see the playthrough. We're going to see the strong drop, strong move lower, and we see that we created a fair value gap. And what you also see is we have this 15-minute demand zone that was already initially broken. Me personally, when I'm trading supply and demand, and what I teach a lot of our members is we like to keep a broken zone up for just that day because it works as an area of interest, whether you're looking to short the top of it, short the bottom of it, or just use those areas as a strong area to target or for a reversal. So because we created a fair value gap right on top, right in the middle of that area, I was able to mark out our fair value gap. And I was also able to see that once we pulled back, we got into an optimal trade entry, just like we saw on ES. So because this was a down move, we're going to mark our optimal trade entry from the top to the bottom. And at that point, we see that we have our 61% falls right in this fair value gap. So we're going to play it out. And at this point, I'm really looking for some type of reaction. So right there, I was able to say, okay, this was a nice reaction off the fair value gap. It ticked right into that 61% Fibonacci. I'm going to put my short order at the fair value gap and keep my stop loss a little above that swing high. Was then able to look for a target. Now initially, this trade, I wanted to target a new low of day because the NASDAQ was continuing to make those new lows of day. But as you'll see in the playthrough, we get weak down here, and I took into consideration that because of the divergence, there was a good chance this trade might not play to that take profit. So we ended up taking profit a little early. So we got one last test. This is what I got filled on right here. It drew down a little bit before it finally gave us a strong move lower. Now at this point, I said I got to get out of this trade. We just took a fantastic ES long position. We have bullish divergence. I think we're going to fail this low. Now again, this is a replay system. This was the 1 minute chart, so it was moving around. It gave me some time to consider this. I saw this order block right here. I said I got to get out. We cut the trade short, but still cut it for about a 5-to-1, 4-to-1 risk to reward. Another fantastic trade. We really want to look for these high probability setups along with good risk to reward because it'll become less stressful when we're trading, because all we would need is 1 or 2 good wins to make up for a handful of losses. And alright everyone, thanks for tuning in. Hit that like and subscribe button. I hope you guys learned something today. Remember, divergence is super important when we're trading things like ES, NQ, SPY, QQQ, and it's always important to do our due diligence, back test, and journal our trades. Happy trading, and I'll see you guys in the community. Take care.